All right, conservation meeting, it's gonna start. We're being recorded by Area 58, and you can watch it on YouTube. First thing on the agenda is an IDA hearing on 29 White Island Road to build an 8x8 shed from 15 feet from shore. Owner Richard Moore will be attendance.
Yes.
I'd like to discuss, give us an overview and what you want to do.
I've had a plastic resin shed there for years,
Yeah.
and it's finally blew down enough times I couldn't patch it back together.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to replace it with a wooden shed. That might last a little bit longer.
All right, you're gonna be disturbing any land when you put it down, like a,
It's gonna be no, it's just gonna go, it's not gonna disturb any trees. It's not gonna be not gonna be on a foundation. You know, it's not, so it's just gonna be probably a cinder blocks and.
yeah, but keep it even, yeah.
Yeah.
Like something from Chapin's, they just deliver it, drop it right on the spot, and that's it. No, you're not doing a pad or a foundation or anything.
Yeah, they have to put it together there.
Yeah, okay, so yeah. So you
Yeah,
have some
because
centimeters to level it.
I'm on Eastmont Ponset and I'm on a hill.
Yeah,
They can't just.
well, right.
All right,
No foundation and no cutting down any trees.
there's already,
There's
he's
already,
replacing the.
yeah, the shed that's there is roughly 8x8, right?
Right, but I mean, it's not there now because. But it was there for years.
Mother Nature took
It's
care
been
of it.
windy this week.
Well, Kim, you have any questions?
No, it's pretty straightforward,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's not that it's grandfathered in, but I don't see a reason not to allow them to put the shed in, and I'd rather see everything stored properly
Well, yes.
than
Yeah, like gas and oil.
anything
To get
different
from
happen.
where that would be to my house is 23 steps uphill.
gotcha.
So I'm not gonna be putting everything up and down all the time.
Okay. Can we have a motion to approve the shed?
I'll make a motion to approve the shed at 29 White Island Road.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All set?
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, we have to sign for him for that. Anything?
Peggy would have to do the paperwork, and then at the next meeting, we'd have to sign it, or we'd all have to come in.
Can I just now, I have been contact the shed company and tell them it's okay to go?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do we have anything to sign for that? Signatures required. Here's the form, here's the sign.
Oh, yeah. Let's get all that stuff out of the way.
Here you go.
Okay.
Oh, here you go. Okay. Time check. Oh, it's all right.
We,
This is for.
we can run upstairs and, photocopy it for him and give it to him now, so we can get going if you,
Yeah,
You'd
that's
have-
fine.
Yeah.
but you'd have to wait a minute for me to have a quorum again.
Yeah, you can run it real quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sorry to disrupt the meeting and hold you all up a minute. I'll run upstairs to the photocopier and get this, so you can get your
Thank you.
ball rolling right away.
Do you have anything else you can sign without, any discussion while she's gone?
Um,
Anything else I have to sign? I know I missed the last.
We'll wait until she comes back, but, yeah,
Meeting
signatures.
minutes, you guys could probably
Yeah.
sign.
Yeah, because I know the stuff that I didn't get to sign because I wasn't here last meeting.
Where's the meeting minutes? Inspections. I don't know what the minutes are. Oh, yeah, yeah.
This is gonna be a good one.
They do good ads.
Yeah, they sure do.
It's called Rhino Shed out in Middleborough.
There you go. I'm sure they do a great job.
I'm not right with that. Looking for shit.
It sounds tough.
They sound much.
Now, we have to put a motion to
They're
sign
much
minutes.
more reasonable than the other companies.
Okay,
Oh, I bet.
all right, so we can meet on that, yeah.
I was having read storybook half a dozen times a day.
Yes, I
Really?
can hear them all the time.
If you're in the car for 5 minutes, the ad comes on.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, they switched it up though.
Yeah.
That's great.
There's 2 copies. I mean,
Thank you.
not that it's a permanent permit, but you guys, you know, I get a lot of complaints and different stuff. And then so read your next copy in case you want to call me.
Thanks,
Okay,
Eric.
thank you.
Appreciate it very much. Thank you.
All right. Someone put a motion that we can just vouch you to sign the
And I
minutes.
have that back. Let's do it.
Go on the back of it. All right, next we'll talk about 515 Maponte Street.
Sure.
There is a complaint that came in on June 2nd, 2023. It's, it reads, Peggy, regarding the 515 Monpont Street NOI. On page 4, the applicant marked that the project was not located within estimated habitats of rare wildlife. However, as you can see on the attached map, this is incorrect. I'm assuming that's because the original project, as shown as approved by the Conservation Committee, was not to intrude upon the 50-foot buffer zone, and this was stated in the order of conditions. However, the applicant did intrude upon the 50-foot buffer zone, as is evident in the pictures that I sent you. And this can be clearly seen on Google Earth using the time series feature. The applicant violated the order of conditions and should be fined, in my opinion. Trees that line the shoreline provide shade and habitat that are necessary for the entire ecosystem of these glacial lakes. They shade the large native trees, provide help to keep water temperatures cooler during the summer and prevent erosion and runoff, especially down steep embankments which are present on this property. Removal of these trees will increase water temperatures and expose more water to sunlight, which can result in excess algae blooms and invasive aquatic vegetation growth. Sincerely, Jeremy Gillespie.
Well, Kathy and I went out there last week. He did get approval about 2-3 years ago to remove the trees from this board. As we went by, he did put stairs in, which he replaced the old ones.
Yeah.
And then he put like a patio on the ground. Can you explain more of why you did that and what was there prior? You stated something, cement
Yes.
was there prior to that.
Yes, within the order of conditions, but can I just back up a little bit with the trees?
Yeah.
With any of the trees that came out, they were all specifically marked and pointed out before I even touched any of them, and then they were cut down. So, I didn't do anything that I wasn't, I didn't ask to do, and it was looked at prior to doing it. And then within the order of conditions, I asked for permission. They said, put whatever you want on there for the next 3 years. So I asked to put the stairs in, I permitted them, I did that. And the reason that they let me put the stairs in the landing down in the bottom was there was a pump house when I bought it. When I bought this house, the whole thing was completely dilapidated. There was a deck that was on top of a trailer that was rusted out. There was like a tractor down at the bottom where there's like a landing. A bunch of concrete that I took out. I rebuilt the stairs, and there was a half wall around it where I put the landing, and it wasn't a patio, but it was like a cemented area. So what I did is I put the landing at the bottom of the hill, I put the footings where I was allowed to do it, and I did all the work by hand where there's no machines put in there. And then when I finished, I made like a patio around the bottom of the landing, which was where the old footing was. The only thing I feel like I did that was taking liberties, I should have, is there's probably a 20-inch high by 36-inch, 42-inch round fire pit connected to that patio. And that's really the only thing I think that I did that I didn't ask for. And you and I believe it was Kathy?
Yes, Kathy, the
Yes, you and
chairperson.
Kathy had went down there, you looked and saw what I did. And you had even saw the trees prior to me even doing any of that. And then I also asked and was given permission to, take out some of the invasive species there. And then before I get the certificate of compliance, which is going to be coming up in I think 5 to 6 months, I have to put a few plantings in there. And I can trim too. I was given permission to do that stuff. So I would like to, do that prior to getting the certificate of compliance. I put in, did you have my RDA at the same time too? Is that?
I did not see that here.
Okay,
Is it
because
in that-
I put that in, I paid for that, and Peggy said she was gonna put it in on the meeting. It's an RDA, and it's asking for what I actually just talked about. It was like, I don't wanna remove the patio area that's at the bottom of the footing. And I was asking, can I keep my fire pit? And there's also a floating dock that I was given permission to do within the order of conditions. And because I've never had a place with a lake, I wanted to change the shape of the dock, the floating dock, because I want to duplicate exactly what my neighbor has, because I wanted something 10 by 10 because they're saying to put something in there that, put anything on your wish list for 3 years on there.
Excuse, Mr. Burgess,
Oh.
with the floating dock under chapter 91,
Yeah,
you would go through us first.
I did.
And then, just so you know,
Yeah.
go through the police department again. Because
Oh.
Chief Sharves is the harbor master under our bylaws.
Okay,
He likes to be called the lake master, obviously, because we don't have an ocean.
gotcha.
But your next process for the docks does involve the police department.
Okay.
Because I don't want anyone to complain that you didn't take your second step.
Okay, I
Just
definitely
under
will.
chapter 91, so you're aware of that.
Okay, and that was mentioned to me. It wasn't at the time, but they approved it on the plans that I could do it, on the order conditions.
That you come before conservation
Yeah.
first, and then the second step is going through the police department.
Oh, okay.
They go through a whole different set of rules and regulations for safety and length, and whatever Chief Sharp's job is under chapter 91.
Okay, so
Because
that's
that-
my next step.
For the dock.
But
Yeah.
within that RDA, what I wanted to ask though is because I've never built a dock. The dock is so I can get onto the boat. I have a
Yeah.
pontoon boat and, and tie a couple of jet skis to it. Well, 10 by 10 isn't doing nothing. And because I never did it, I just wanted to make it like the neighbors is next door, which it's like 4 by like 50, so you can put the boat next to it. So I don't know that I should talk about that now before I speak with.
Yeah, floating dock, how you got an anchor? Like I've seen some of them.
The way the neighbors is done,
Yeah.
he's been there for 35 years. I was going to duplicate it. It's 2 by 8, 5-quarter decking, 4 by 4s on the bottom of it, another piece of 5-quarter. It just sits in the mud. It just stays in there without any
And
attachments.
then out of the other, it literally just floats.
Yep, and you'd make like 10, 12, 14-foot sections.
Yeah,
You just put a cleat on the bottom of it,
yeah.
screw them in, unbolt them at the end of the season, put them on shore.
And just your neighbor may have used materials that are no longer applicable.
I understand that.
Under the Clean Water Act and
Right.
our bylaws, and then the Wetlands Protection Act and all things like that. So you want to be careful with what materials you use.
Yeah.
No problem. And the fire
This
department will
looks
let me know
really
that,
good.
correct?
Okay.
And his drawings are really good in it. And he's got his drawings all
Okay.
done out in there, Steve, on his RDA.
Yeah, but would the fire department, they'll let me know the materials I want to use are proper?
That would probably be us.
And building and zoning maybe.
And building and zoning possibly,
Oh, really?
may know. I'd have to go back and look at one of the meetings, because we had an issue on Ocean Ave, and we did give 3 recommendations. Off the top of my head, where the McDonald's and the Sunoco is, if you go down that road in Rockland, heading into Norwell,
Okay,
there
I'm not
is,
quite
there,
sure.
so if you're heading up 139, like you were gonna get on the highway,
Mhm.
the old exit 13. I don't know what the new exit is anymore.
Oh.
So you keep going up, and then on your right, there's going to be a 99 restaurant, a car dealership, a Sunoco. You take your right into there, follow it down, and then you come to the Ford dealership, and you bear left. And there's a lumber shop on the left in there that specializes in just materials for the Clean Water Act, the Wetlands
Oh,
Protection
no
Act.
kidding. So it's not
And
just,
they actually
it's not just
stock
PT though? You don't know, you recall? I mean,
I'm not sure if standard PT is, I mean, old PT obviously isn't, but I'm not, the new PT doesn't have the arsenic in it, but I'm
Right.
not sure if there's 2 separate ratings.
okay, but they know.
They are 2 separate ratings,
Yeah.
and the Home Depot and Lowe's carry them both, and I wouldn't be able to tell you how
Well,
to
the-
tell the difference.
Right.
So, and I'm not sure if Sampson's Lumber still does it. They used to do a lot of those things,
Mhm.
but I know a lot of places stopped stocking it because of the cost, and then when the pandemic hit and everything rose again and building materials went phenomenally out of.
Most things aren't in stock. I just did a
So-
project myself, I had to order everything.
With, what for a dock?
No, for my, just decking materials,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
everything, nobody keeps anything in stock anymore,
Yeah.
you
So,
know?
Okay.
No, I'm hoping you're wrong.
and then just to give you 3, I'm gonna say Home Depot just to keep the board out of trouble.
Yeah,
The first 2.
yeah, but I mean, that'd probably be not a bad thing if I could get it.
So back to the original complaint.
Yes, yes, yes.
The original complaint came a couple years ago, then obviously,
Yeah, the
When you
original
looked-
complaint was in 20.
When you looked,
yeah.
did it look like he took down more trees than he?
No, he did not, no.
He took down the trees that.
There was one tree that was, I think,
authorized to
struck by lightning, it was like rotted to the
Okay.
middle. A couple of them were just tilted over, and it was, and they were heading towards the deck
take
areas,
down. Okay.
You
You
don't
went
wanna-
out and looked and,
from my recollection a couple of
Yeah.
years ago.
okay.
Yeah, and I don't know if the record showed, but I brought a bunch of pictures in for you. There was like 3 of them that had lightning strikes. There was 2 that were on my wish list to get rid of because they were both gonna take out the
I'm not sure.
stairs.
Yeah, yeah.
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 All right, can we have a motion?
So,
Okay.
this complaint's dated June 2nd, 2023 at 12:12 PM.
He hasn't moved any trees.
So when you and Kathy went out,
Yeah.
so,
We went out there on,
No, it's got nothing since.
we went on there
2020.
Sunday. Whatever day Sunday was.
so part of this complaint is, so, 1, the board doesn't feel we should fine him because there's no
No.
reason.
No.
Okay, so
Thank you.
we're not gonna fine you. And then we just need a motion to approve his RDA.
After the fact idea, yes.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve an after-the-fact RDA for 515 Monpont Street for Mr. Burgess.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Great.
And then, do we need to make a second motion for him to be able to keep his fire pit?
No, that's part of the patio, and the fire pit was on.
Okay, sorry, I missed it, and then, you're good with me, just don't forget to see Chief Shaw's.
I definitely will.
Yeah, they have regulations on distance for safety
Yeah.
reasons
I'll
going
go
on.
see- I'll go see him tomorrow.
Under chapter 91, Mrs. Ross, might have the application. And I think his email is chief@halifax-ma.org or .gov. But I'm
Could-
sure
I
it's
don't
on
have
the
a pen.
website.
Could you write it down and
Yep,
I'll print it up and bring it down
and
tomorrow. Yeah, I just want to enjoy the place, you know?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, and I'll email the chief when I get home to let him know it was approved.
Okay.
Because Peggy's not feeling well and I don't know if she'll
To be
be
in
in tomorrow.
Okay.
Unless you would like me to go
Not just the
make him
signature.
a copy too.
No, we'll wait, because
you
we have to
wanna
get
wait?
moving.
Hmm?
No, we won't make a copy right now for it, because we just want to keep.
If you want to wait
Yeah,
till
I'll
we get
wait.
to meeting minutes, I can make you
Yes,
a
looks like
copy,
we're-
not to hold on.
No problem.
And I'm not sure if anyone's on virtually or not. I'll have to ask Caesar when we get that far.
Sure.
Did I
That-
say this one?
I think it's this folder.
Well, I feel better. I just like, you know, I feel like I really didn't do any, you know, so I'm glad.
Thank you for cooperating. It's just when complaints come in, they have to.
No, I came here the
We have to
next day.
address complaints, so
Yeah, I didn't want,
anonymous ones, we don't have to, but,
no, no, so I appreciate
All right,
the help.
where are we? Moving on.
okay, we're moving on. Motion to sign minutes from,
I'll make a motion to sign the minutes from previous meetings.
do we have a second?
I'll second the motion to sign meeting minutes.
All in favor?
Sorry,
Aye.
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 I'm writing out Mr. Burgess's information. Sorry.
Which meeting is this? Oh,
It's on the front page. We have it for April 26th, March 8th. If you're on the list.
these are some old ones, huh?
Yeah, these are pretty old. Nope, you're not on that one.
They were pretty behind before
Yeah.
either one of us were appointed, so.
You're on this one.
Oh, I didn't notice. I'll just.
Yeah, no problem.
Today's the 6th.
Yes, it is the 6th.
I'm all messed up because of Saturday.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Ken's on this. Here you go, Steve. You can sign this. Oh. And there's that one. No. All right.
Kim's got to sign this one.
Okay, she has to sign this. Okay, here you go, Ken. This is mine. Completely on each one. Just make sure.
I already signed that one. I think these are only the ones that Steve was absent for.
No, there's a few other new ones there too.
That one needs Kathy's signature.
Alright, I think we caught up on the minutes.
Would you guys like to go out of order
Um,
for the erosion grants
Since the person's not here.
and around the pond?
Yeah, we can do any order
I'm
possible.
not Is Caesar in his office?
He is. For discussion, we can go in any order we want.
Yeah, you can go in any
Yeah,
order.
but there's a
Gentleman here, I'm not
a
sure.
gentleman, I'm not sure where he is on the agenda because I know that I will be going to take over.
I was just here for a couple of things, just the 285 homes and
See now?
383 Montalban.
Okay. There's nobody else. I'm gonna try to get in.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I don't mind giving him a few minutes. I didn't give him a time.
Yep, no problem.
They had things come up, so,
Okay, we're gonna do the discussions for this gentleman, so he doesn't have to hang around all day.
Okay.
yeah.
We're gonna discuss 285 Home Street, furniture storage complaint. They have left and doing work on vehicles without floor draining, also stormwater management complaints. I don't,
So,
someone's working on his car in his driveway and they want us to.
so the
Address it.
email from the Board of Health, from the health agent, was sent on May 22nd, 2023 for 285 Home Street. And it says, "Hi Katie, here is what I know about the problem. Planning board did approve it. Peggy and Concom can take it from there. I will be asking to do another interior inspection as the building was approved as furniture storage. It appears they have a lift and are doing work on vehicles, which would be a violation of the Board of Health and the Department of Environmental Protection's floor drain regulations. I'll keep you updated."
Is it, okay, 285 Home Street, is it anywhere near any wetlands or conservation area?
Or storm water drain
Yeah.
nearby the property?
Yeah. If it's involving DEP, it has to. Do you guys have your folders? Peggy put pictures in the back of it. They're really grainy and hard, but, and the property card is there too.
285?
Hmm. 283. Yeah, I don't see a reason why we should. I don't think it's not anywhere near any lakes or anything.
There's a little wetlands right across the street. I know the highway department had put some pictures in.
Is this by the railroad tracks?
Exactly.
Is that building that could?
Should we go look at it?
Yeah, we
I'm
can.
familiar driving by, but not to get rear-ended, you're not going very slow to look.
It's for the.
When would you be available to meet with a board member?
Is this your property or is this a
No,
concern?
I'm just in the butter. I saw it come up on the,
Yeah.
trying to get a little bit more involved with the town. I saw it come up and, it's raised some concerns for me and my family, so. I was just-
Where do you live?
301, right next door.
If you could state your name with your address, that'd be
Yep,
awesome.
Jake Okerfeld, 301 Home Street.
Is that the house that's
It's right on the other side of the train.
the other side of the track? So you've got some woods between you and him,
Correct.
that looks like? Okay.
Excuse me, Jake, could you please spell your name for the secretary
Yep.
and I, so we get it right in our minutes?
Yep, last name Okerfeld, Okerfelt.
Thank you.
So does it look like there's work being done in the parking area, or does it look like it's doing work?
I
in the
physically haven't seen any work being done. Obviously, you drive by, you do see a lot of vehicles in and out of there. I mean,
Okay.
Is it a running business now? Is it?
we've been walking up in the middle of the night.
Is it a business?
and stuff.
It used to be a furniture business, and then I believe it swapped ownership,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
Yes.
And another business is running out of there that seems automotive-like. However, that's just from driving by.
Yeah,
I think it'd probably be better if we went out and,
I say we do a site visit for the conservation part of it.
Yeah.
The type of business, whatever, that's out of our realm. We don't deal with that.
yeah.
Right, but if,
The Board of Health's already involved in
Yeah, Steve.
doing their thing, so.
so have they been notified that they need to come and see the Board of Health, or should we notify them that we'd like to do a site visit?
We need to notify them we'd like to do a site visit and also have them in front of us after the site visit, or,
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have Peggy
Vice
reach out to
versa.
the landowner and see if we can obviously go on the
I
property.
leave that train station every day at 5:30, so I could stop by there, and whatever day they can do, I can do it at 5:30 right then.
And if the trains are running on time, it'd be 5:30.
No, it's supposed to be 5:20, so it's 5:30.
so now that it's getting busier, it'll be 5:40, 5:45.
Once the kids are out of school, it's even earlier. Because we stop at JFK, and that takes 20 minutes for the kids to get off and on in the mornings. Well, on in the afternoons and off in the morning. So that really, when school's out, the train's fast.
And you leave too early in the morning before they'd be open too, right?
Probably. I'm there getting picked up. I take the 6:30 a.m. train.
Well, we have to get contact with the owner
Yeah,
first
so
before we
if-
can do it.
That's the time frame I can go. If we can tell them that, I can be there any afternoon at 5:30.
Awesome.
All right. And and what was the other thing you were possibly interested in?
Just the, it looks like it says something about the,
383.
383 Monpont. That's the house right on the corner, correct?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's right at the corner across from the end of Lincoln Street, right?
Is that all work?
Technically on East Lake.
It came in as 471, but it's actually 383 Monpont Street.
Right, and they have that large U-shaped driveway that now is blacktopped all the way down to within 18 inches of
Yeah,
water.
so a complaint came in on Thursday, June 1st, 2023 for this property too, and it says, "Hi Peggy, I wanted to let you know we were starting the work today to remove the driveway loom and hydro seeding.
So that's 31.
For 31, we should get it hydro seeded by tomorrow. I wanted to ask about the paving at 383 Monpont Street. I noticed a large asphalt driveway recently installed. I don't see any DEP signage or any erosion controls installed prior to the work done on that property. I would like to know why they didn't need any of that and what is being done about it. Thank you, Jeffrey McKinnon,
Ah,
President of J. McKinnon Company Industry."
okay.
Rightfully so. I'm sorry, but it's a legitimate complaint.
Yep. Was there a driveway there before, I think?
No,
Crushed stone.
it was crushed stone. There was no driveway. There's so much work been done at this property.
Yeah.
So
Was it recently sold or something?
No, I think it was
No.
sold about 3 years ago, and they've just been slowly, they put a stone face. So they've done a lot of work to the house over there, and this is the first, the dock is still original because it's the end of my street, so I see it every day.
Yeah,
But then the driveway was like, well,
yeah. They haven't, I don't believe they have any of the proper boards, anything to do any
No.
work. So I think that not only in fairness to 31 Ocean Ave, but in fairness to everybody else in town,
yeah,
that they be served a cease and desist. And,
Well, that's already done, so I don't.
well, if they're doing any other work, Ed, because they're still doing work slowly, a cease and desist,
yeah, I'm hoping
And
that they're
have
not gonna
them-
do anything with the dock.
and have them come in.
So they need to be notified that if they're gonna do anything else with the property, they need to come before all the boards.
We have 7 complaints on the agenda about dogs tonight, Steve. You know it's coming.
That's why we always
tis
let
the
the police
season for
department in
dog
charge of the
complaints.
ocean.
Yeah.
But it does. I think it needs a cease and desist. I think they need to come in front of the board. We should probably do a site visit. And then,
This is, okay, I'm familiar with the area now. So we all we need is really permission to look at the property because he's right on the road,
I
right?
mean,
You can see everything from,
yeah,
so you don't have to go onto his property.
you can see that, I can see from Monpont Street.
Yeah, I
The blacktop is now, comes within, I don't know, probably 18 inches of the water.
it's even closer than that.
To where it used to be, I mean, it used to be just dirt, and you'd back your boat in, and,
Okay.
you know, that's fine, I guess, it's dirt.
What are you gonna do? Tell him not to drive on his grass?
Right, exactly, but he paved where they used to back their boats in. It's
Oh,
all
no,
paved.
you can see it from the road driving in, but
Yep.
I didn't want, well, that's not true. I had difficulties doing other inspections
Yeah.
and have had to bring the camera and zoom in from the sidewalk. I mean, so technically, yes, we could.
Yeah,
But
no, it's,
No, because that's,
lessons learned would say, can we first try to do it properly?
I don't think we need to do a site visit to call him in.
No, he should be called
Yeah.
in, but I think the site visit should be done, the pictures should be taken, especially if it ends up having to be a court case or anything like that, and conservation's ducks are in a row, that's all.
Yeah,
I like to be black and white like that, because, it's me.
so let's, send a notification and put it on the agenda for next meeting.
Yeah, and I'd also do a cease and desist, because he's doing so much other work over there.
I'm hesitant for the cease and assist, but I'm all for calling him in. We can always come to a vote on it and,
What happens when he's done?
Oh, I know,
work
but-
And he doesn't have the cease and desist, it takes us 6 months to get him in, and da-da-da-da-da. I mean, usually without a board's vote.
Usually we do a
Usually the
cease and
chair-
desist when we see there's work being done.
Yeah.
And if there's nothing, do we see, that's why we want a site visit. You could just walk by, you can drive by.
Yeah.
And see, okay, if he's doing anything, then we want to cease and desist on what he's doing at that time. Can't give him a cease and desist prior to him doing it.
But
Really?
they've already paved it and done it.
I know, that's
And
another
they've
reason.
already been putting walls
And we have to
up
thank
and
Mr.
other
McKinnon
things,
to
so-
notify us of this matter.
I mean, we didn't have Mr. McKinnon in front of us before he got a cease and desist.
No, he was still working on it.
And this is,
And he got multiple notifications to come to a meeting and talk with us.
Before we even did this.
well, he did come the very first meeting, Steve, before you were appointed.
Oh, yeah, that was,
And after he got his cease and desist and a few others, and then
Yeah.
it was,
well, it's behind us now after we discuss it in a few minutes.
Okay.
but,
But I'm calling from him, but it's your gut, we can always put up a motion to have the cease and desist, but I'm personally against it, but we can always vote on it and have the majority. I'm all on that. I want him in here, explain it, we know what we can possibly do after the discussion with
yeah, they
him.
have to have their after-the-fact RDAs, after
And
the
if we
fact
even,
MRIs.
if we even let him keep it,
And then
we can always,
we have to let them know, make sure you don't do anything with the dock ahead of time, blah, 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 blah. I
Hmm.
mean, we had poor people in here that have done the right thing, that complaints come in.
I know,
And now we
And,
have
that-
this, now what do we do?
that cease and desist should never been in place, because it happened 3 years ago when he did all the work. 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago.
I
so.
didn't put this in, I missed that meeting.
Yeah, so,
I'm
I'm not-
not aware of that, well, I'm aware, but
yeah,
I
so,
wasn't a part of it.
that was
But I-
after the fact, and,
But they are still working when you drive down this property, they are still doing things. The fact that they have pavement, but 10, like 1 to 2 feet in the water line and other things.
well,
I'm concerned, and not only that, but it's algae bloom season, it's our drinking water, it's against the Wetlands Protection Act, it's the Clean Water Act, and then you get into all of our bylaws. I just honestly think that we should do the cease and desist and invite them in.
I'm just for fighting them in, but you can put a motion to add that on and we vote on democracy and,
Democracy in action.
yeah, like I said,
What do you think, Steve? Because before I put a motion forward, we
You
have
wanna
to
get the
have
votes,
discussion.
Yeah, I think we just bring them in, call them in. We should send notification to the other boards though, because the driveway isn't just, he should have gotten a permit
Correct, and he should have been in front of conservation first.
first,
He should
and then
have
all the
had-
other boards, but, so, I obviously didn't go in front of any of the other boards.
Unless there was a mistake with other boards, which have happened in the past, and
if there was a mistake in the past, that just emphasizes that we should not do
Yeah.
cease and desist, because it
I
could
say
be
we just get
mistakes.
them in here.
I say we haven't called in, we don't have to
Yeah.
vote on it, but
did we,
And it seems like Peggy is already going to. We'll send a letter to the owners to come into a meeting
Yeah.
and discuss the issue and set up a site visit.
yeah, Peggy's awesome like that. Is there a file for,
I don't think so, because all we've got is the initial complaint. There's
there
no
might
file,
be,
it's
an
in-
there might be an
permits.
old file though.
this is 31.
It might be on the front of the floor.
31, this is all. This big folder's all 31.
I'm holding on to just to make Mr. Burgess's copies for him, so we can.
All right, yeah, well, we don't have to vote on any, it's a discussion, so
Yeah,
just have Peggy follow up, give her a
Yep.
call,
that's what I
make,
think.
make some kind of stern letter in there and say, don't touch anything on the outside the house. If he
So,
obviously goes against that, then we can always go by any time and have a cease and desist order fairly quick when a couple members look at it.
even before they come in case anybody notices anything new after this meeting. Tis the season.
I'll take a drive by after this meeting, make sure he's not working right now, but,
I haven't driven by that way in a couple of days. I live over near Elm Street, so I can
You go
avoid that
there,
way,
yeah.
so.
yep, no problem. All right. Anyone here to discuss that, anyone else?
Did, any other concerns
We'll
you'd
bring
like
up
to mention?
31 while you're on
31 is handled and already been
Okay.
processed.
All right.
So no reason
So
for that.
since we're, Mr. McKinnon brought us to his attention, we'll discuss 31.
Yeah, and then,
You did a site visit?
Kathy and I did, oh, no, just I. Kathy wasn't feeling well. She's
Yeah.
under the weather for a couple of days. So she could not make the site visit. He did tear up the pavement and did put new grass down, and he does still have the erosion control still up. So he did everything we asked.
Okay.
Who knows how it's gonna sell, but hopefully the grass gives,
yeah,
Okay, did everything we asked.
the abutting neighbor
yes.
was complaining about adulticiding on the property, spraying for bugs and doing different things. And just for the record, that doesn't fall under conservation, it doesn't even fall under the Board of Health. So I've reached out to the Department of Agricultural Resources, because usually they're the ones that would handle.
Yeah, because we don't know what pesticides they use, it's pretty could be healthy.
There's no pesticide that can be sprayed right up to the lake. And
No, I'm just, I don't know, what we
so
do.
I do know. But it's within 3 feet and it's Maverick.
Is that including the organic pesticide?
Yes. So the
I'm gonna look at-
Department of Agricultural Resources doesn't do it either. It is actually the Department of Environmental Protection that handles those complaints in Lakeville.
No.
It took a little bit to find out the information for the public, but that's how it's done.
Well, we can direct the public to go that route and have them do
That's
it.
why I'm letting it know in open meetings, so and then Peggy will know, the board knows, whoever watches our meetings now knows. Jake's now educated, he can go ask his questions. And if you wanna find out a lot about pesticides and different things, only because a lot of organic pesticides get mixed with permethrin, and it's the permethrin that actually makes it non-organic. And mineral oil mixes a lot with organics, but mineral oil is not allowed either. But the National Institute for Pesticide Control has a 24/7 operator list, and they also have an awesome website where you can go in. They'll give you all your sheets, your notices, your footages, what your droplet sizes need to be, what machines you should use, what type of license you need, whether you can operate the restricted use chemical underneath someone else's license, blah, blah, blah. So, that's all I got for you.
What's next?
We'll move on to 30 White Island, the complaints, algae, what is it? That a dog was put in, work being done within a 100-foot buffer zone. On the 10th of May, a cease and desist letter was sent and request to come in front of the board on the 23rd, discuss the issue and update on the site. Nobody was in attendance for the 23rd meeting regarding this matter. Secretary King stated she would do a site visit on the 24th. Did you do a site visit on the 24th, or are you unable to?
I did not trespass.
Okay.
And there was not, hey, I've been in trouble for it in the past,
Well, you
so
don't-
learn from your past mistakes.
You don't have to state you didn't break the law.
So I didn't trespass, so, and there wasn't a whole lot that you could see from any of the public way of the road.
Right.
So I'm gonna have to ask to go on property and see. There is definitely things down near there, but the age of the dock and whether or not there's already approvals in place. if
Do we know who the
new
complaint came in
dock-
from?
30 White Island Road.
Typically, it's an abutting neighbor, you could maybe stand in their yard and take a look.
Let's see. That one must not have come in through email.
Okay,
because
that's fine.
There's not one here.
No, she's just trying to find out if you can get access, better look at your time.
Okay, right away.
No, we can go again, and I didn't even try to knock on the door, because we hadn't give any form of notice yet.
Okay, and there's a letter sent out to them, so they know
Yep.
we're interested in seeing the property.
All right.
So, I mean, there's definitely stuff going on, but whether it's old or not, like, Peggy's not here to ask. Her and
You see where we're at on that, yeah.
So the cease and desist letter was sent with a request to come in to the board.
Yep.
Yeah, so I did go out.
So,
None of that, so
so after we did this cease, could you tell if there's any work being done down there? I
there's
can't see.
definitely work being done, but,
Okay.
okay, so.
We need to follow up on that, just.
So, my radicalness, if we do a vote that I go out, I will happily go out tomorrow and trespass and do different stuff.
No, we cannot,
Just
people
knock on
vote.
the door.
You can go to the front door, knock on the door, ask if you can check out, identify yourself, and
Do we know, I know that this went in, did we ever get the little card back that they signed for the certified mail? I'm wondering
That's
if they
a Peggy
actually
question.
received it.
yeah.
I mean, if I get arrested, I at least want Concom to bail me out.
No.
We don't need to be like that. Like, come on, we're all neighbors. Go knock on the door.
Knock on the
Identify
door.
yourself.
That's legal.
They can tell you pound sand, or they can say, sure, come take a look. I think that's the most intelligent approach.
I did that last time and it still got me in hot water.
All right. That's okay. So we're just gonna do a follow up on that.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
All right. The person that complained about, my problem that made me get a cease and desist, where are they? And I don't care, because like
Well, he
you
did
said,
state his
I'm in-
name.
But I mean, what was the address? I'm just wondering, is it like my?
He lives in Halifax. I'm not sure his address. but-
Yeah, because I mean, the letter was quite eloquent. I mean, it was. I mean, there was some education behind that.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad about none of it. I'm just curious. Is he, like, is he right next to me and he doesn't talk to me?
No.
The email's a public record,
Yeah.
and if you go to the assessor's office,
Mm-hmm.
they'll be able to give you the address.
Oh,
of
okay.
The person who's been.
Okay, but out of curiosity, are they right next to me? Does anybody know?
No, he's not.
Oh, okay. No, because I know everybody has binoculars, I'm sure, when you're saying you can't see,
Okay.
they can make it a lot closer.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. He's well known in the town. So let's move on.
All right, no problem. I was just
No,
curious.
I just want.
Listening to your discussions, it just made me think of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Levee breach, Robin Pond. Obviously.
There is an update in our files from Mr. Hayward. Hi Peggy, I met with Kathy last night at the Pine Street Bridge. She said okay for them to start work on the bridge. I also told her now that Memorial Day is over, we might have some time to finally get to Elm and Furnace. And if we don't get to them before this Friday, it will be early next week. Thank you, Steve Hayward.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We'll just keep getting updates on that as it moves along.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
It is, it looks, with this, the last meeting, I wasn't sure of the employee's name from Highway. I bumped into Steve today. The employee that, took photos, let Steve know there was some Concom issues and other issues going on was Mark. Just to put it publicly out there, I thanked them, how wonderful were they, our last meeting. But Highways Department, that was so wonderful was Mark. And I let Steve know that today.
Okay.
I didn't know his name was.
Mhm. All right. I think we gave the elected official plenty of time. I don't think it'll be showing.
I mean, I'll check and make sure. I'm sure if they popped on there, Caesar would have told us, but let's just make sure. Nobody's still logged on, right?
I didn't bring my phone.
Nope.
So I have.
Nobody's logged on there.
Okay. Well, so. I hate to do this, but Kim, you can have the floor for. Let's put a timer on this.
There's 4 pages worth of options, so, and to do things correctly, we always can't have a timer. So this is why I'm.
As a chairperson, I can say as a discussion, so we can.
And if there's no one out here to really discuss it with but the three of us,
Would you like to, I mean, I know most of the board doesn't have interest in it, but there's.
No, we do have
I
interest.
do, I'm not sure that retaining walls are the way to go when it comes to erosion on the lake. That's all.
I never said retaining walls.
Oh, what did you say?
It's just the erosion control.
Erosion grants.
Okay.
And that's what we're discussing is the grant proposal, and if we get the grants, then you can bring in the Army Corps of Engineers.
So is that how it works? We request a grant first, I'm not sounding flippant, without a
No,
plan?
I've got an entire thing done, and it's not only just conservation, Steve, it will require the selectmen and the Board of Health working together too.
Well, why don't we invite them to our meeting? And that is a big part of the reason why I wanted to
Let's
switch
switch to
dates,
Tuesdays.
so that they can come.
Because we have to have the discussion first before we can go further and invite everybody else in. We did ask Peggy to speak to Cody about it. Kathy and Cody would like us to try to get a conservation agent in place. But having written grants before, and where you can get multiple grants for such a project if you do need the state's help. And that's why we hoped the state rep would still come, because Kathy Lenatra's office, Representative Lenatra's office, is getting multiple complaints from our constituents around both lakes because of the erosion and the problems and their concerns. And of course, we all know that the residents are complaining and unhappy. We all know that the West and East Lake are water aquifers' #1 concern. The erosion is getting so bad between the soil, the wind, the ice, and our soil conditionings. And then the lakes have a history of arborvitae disease, public health dangers, and we all know about the
But
erosions.
let me ask a question on the grants. We don't have to have the representatives put in for the grants. The town usually puts in for the grants, right?
You can go for 2 or 3 at the same time.
Yeah, you can obviously go
Water.
put in as many
But
grants as possible.
You're more applicable to get approval if you have support from each board. Part of the West Lake's owned by Hanson, so support from Hanson, of course. Support from the county water commissioners for the water quality and the work they've done. And I'd even reach out to Dawn for the watershed, what's the nonprofit's name? Is it the Monpont Watershed?
Yes.
I'd reach out to Don Barrows and see about his support if the town would do it. But you also we'd have to decide and speak with do you want a competitive grant, a formula grant, a continuation grant, a pass-through grant? You have what's called discretional grants, and the discretional grants don't need applications. And then you have multiple.
There's a lot of different forms of grants out there, like,
Yeah.
obviously conservation agent, I don't know where we're at on that, but it'd be ideal to have someone working on that hours instead of
If
us
they,
discussing about it, but,
if they don't
there's
have to write a grant. Like
yeah,
right now-
I have no idea.
Right now, the town of Halifax, I believe, only has 3, maybe in 4, including me, that does grant writing. Chief Shaw's, Bob Valley, and I believe our TA does it, and I have experience doing it. But you have those different options, but you have the Federal Grant and Cooperative Agreement Act. You have what's called the CZM, and it's the Coastal Zone Management. And then you have the multiple options through the EPA. You can do, and everything I pulled off through research is all for water quality, erosion, public health, and conservation. I left all the other options off the table.
Yeah,
You-
when it comes to the water quality and everything else, that's usually the EPA, the DEP, well,
It's
more their-
usually the Board of Health.
and Board of Health too.
But I pulled them for Bob too, just in case. You have the disaster prevention and relief, there's 30 options. You have health grants, there's 181. Environmental, there's 98. Natural resources, you have 55 of them. You have another category for conservation, there's 226 of them. Science, technology, and research, 290 of them. You have the HSS, the Health
Okay.
and Human Services,
But-
193. These are how many of them.
Okay, can you share that with all of us so we can be intelligent about discussing it at the next meeting?
Because
Because I have 2 hours a day on the train to read.
I wasn't asked to do that, I was asked to do it during an open meeting.
Okay.
okay, no,
So,
all these, obviously, many grants out there. I think it's more of we should talk to the town administrator, who might have a better idea how
And
process
conservation.
proceed to get those grants, but if we need our signature on them, or you have very good knowledge about grants, I think that'd be very helpful, but I don't see, as a committee, that we start just doing grants all day. You understand that?
No, I'm not asking you to write a grant, this is just to get the discussion going and on public
Okay.
record. And then HUD has 15, the USDA has 58 conservation grants available. NOAA, although they usually do a lot of ocean only, they have some grants available just for the ecosystem. And then you have the Resilient Community Grant Program, the Coastal Resilience Grant Program, your funding and instrumental grants. And those are all the options for the town, and there's a total of 919 grants that could be applied for
Okay.
if everybody agreed to it.
I'm sure everyone would agree to get grants. No, I don't see that.
So,
An issue, we just have to have someone put in
It's
for
a
it.
lot of work, it's a lot of organization, it's a lot of work together, it's a lot of,
right,
hopefully
think
a
a lot of that
conservation agent gets hired soon.
a lot of that work's gonna need to be done behind the scenes, just between us emailing back and forth to each other. So like I said, even if you just send me the links, so I can start reading them, so we can make intelligent decisions about, you know, which ones we think, one, that we might have a better chance of getting, and two, would be the most beneficial. I mean, our lake is unique. It's not very deep, it's very wide, it's, you know, there's all kinds of things that make it different that, you know.
And not only is it different, it's also an aquifer, which adds another,
Right, it's Class A drinking water supply.
it adds another fundamental value
Right.
to it. But not on top of grants with the way that the act's written with Brockton in our old legislation. Brockton may be required to kick in funds to help.
So, I think sharing the information with us and Kathy, I think Kathy needs to be part of the discussion as the chair. If we can get her the information so that the four of us can have an intelligent discussion next time.
No, I was only asking.
No, that's fine.
No, no,
You
I'm
missed
saying
the
moving
last,
forward.
you missed the last meeting, Steve,
I
so, the only thing I was asked to do for this meeting was get all of this information together and to see where we wanted to go next from there.
Okay.
And I believe that the representative and the senator may have even more options for us. And what concerns me too is that the residents feel so ignored by the town that they're reaching out to our state reps and our senators. That bothers me as a board member. So,
All right, so step one is to get the,
hire a conservation agent?
well, that's a big plus, but also get the other committees and like the planning board and everyone else to do the next step forward if we need all those people on with it.
Yeah, I would say it would be the Board of Health, us,
I think we definitely put it on for further discussion at the next meeting. And just keep it on there.
yes, and it's, I mean, Ed's used to me for what, the last 2.5 years talking about it, Ed. We need grants, we need to do this, we need to handle
Yeah,
that
but
project, like,
I'm not a grant person. I'm not saying I'm not for grants, but that's not my specialty. And people know how to go out
but
and get grants.
I am.
Usually the town will have hopefully better resources to deal with that.
It's timely, and what I found out from,
And when it comes to state representatives, obviously just maybe send them letters, talk to them.
well, they have experience too, and they also, like, I gave you all the different types of grants there are, and everything that was forecasted and posted and available, but you have your city and township, there's 227 left, you have your county government grants, there's 228 left, and then you have your state government grants, where there's 260 of them left, and then you have unrestricted, which anybody can go for, which is 330, and then there's individuals. I didn't research individuals in depth, so I don't know if it's homeowners and others, like the HUD and the South Coastal Program, that they can apply for too, but there's 38 of them left, so if we could go for multiple grants as a municipality, but also have the state government go for grants for it, considering that it's
Well, I think we should,
our water supply and other things, that it would be more beneficial, not that grants are free, no money's free, but it would be much more helpful,
no,
you know what I mean?
well, this is obviously doesn't just pertain to this group, the Conservation Committee, but I think the town should hire a person who's an expert in getting grants. I know universities have them. They just have people just work on grants all day, try to get them for their town, school, whatever. And that's the way I think the town should go, but,
I would vote yes if you put a citizen's petition for that, just so you know.
okay.
I'll even sign it if you want to do it.
Okay.
All right, let's move on. Thank you for all that information.
No, that's all I was asked to do. I have a wonderful PowerPoint in that's like 39 minutes long, but that is not what I was asked to bring tonight.
Okay. All right, we have a couple more things on there. We don't have to discuss all these matters because there's 250 Linden Street, we don't have to really discuss DEP report.
Yeah, we're still waiting on the DEP report.
A lot of dog complaints. Okay, we'll stick with we'll just go in order down the list. 0 Pine Street and 1 Snow Street, that's obviously ongoing with council, letters going back and forth.
Yeah, I think right now that's kind of in town council's hands because we asked them to,
Well, you want to know if they signed for the certified letter?
I know that Mr. Diaz has gotten Peggy's correspondences because Peggy informed me when I saw her earlier today that Mr. Diaz had put in a public records request.
right.
Yeah, for the complaint.
So he sent a public records request, so he's aware of what's going on, he knows what we want, he knows what we need.
Yeah,
Okay, so that's between him and town council now, because the EPA and the DEP told the town, get on that property and see what's going on. So town council needs to get a warrant if Mr. Diaz won't let us on there.
Yeah, so. Kathy wrote to him May 24th, 2023.
Right.
In his response, another complaint came in, and then there's all the correspondences between everybody else.
Yeah.
And then this I go back. The form stack submission was through DEP, and the original complainant was Jeremy Gillespie, 9 Ridgeview Ave, Halifax, Mass. And I'm not giving off on this.
okay,
Just,
No,
all right.
but like I said, I think that's in the town
Yeah.
council's hands because that's where we are. I mean,
Once we get on the property, then we can discuss it
Yeah.
more. All right, 265 Neponset Street, anonymous complaint was originally started all this. Concerned box turtles on the development, there were pictures, but
did everybody get their email from Peggy? Of the
yes, I
update?
did, yeah.
Okay.
And the Thorndike Development has agreed to implement a division approval turtle protection plan. So if they start developing it, they will go that avenue.
They did. Also, National Heritage doesn't plan until 2025 to remap and do new
right.
priority habitats and things, but there are wetlands on there, there are endangered species on the property, species of concerns. But we can implement something or possibly go to town meeting and do something new if we'd like to. But that can't stop the approvals that have already gone forward.
Right.
And I think Kathy should be here for that discussion too, if we want to hit special town meeting and strengthen our bylaws even more. Like we did with our regulations, our stormwater and things like that, and
Yep.
review them again.
It's not a bad idea.
And also, just making sure that they do get the turtle plan in place, that the town does get a copy, and
course.
all of that, and then to make sure that anything they do now in erosion controls are just there, 8 to 10 inches off the ground, so if they
Yeah.
can cross and all that stuff.
Okay,
That would be the only thing I'd ask the board to do, is just send them a letter. Thank you for working with National Heritage on your own. We appreciate your cooperation, but could you please make sure that any of your erosion controls, fencing, and such things going forward allow turtle crossing, since we know that they are on the property.
well, we don't know that, it's anonymous.
if you read through everything in ecosystems report and in the email, they admitted to having the wetlands and the turtles and some other things in there. They're just not listed with National Heritage or the town or anybody else right now. And the state doesn't have any plans of revamping their system.
Until
and
2025.
revamping until 2025, so
Hmm.
the only thing that we could really do is just say, could you please make sure you have turtle crossings?
Okay. All right, let's move on to 111 Lake Street, complaining homeowner within 50 feet of buffer zone, pushing piles, clearing into the stream. And
They had a letter go out to them, correct?
yes, the administration, Peggy, worked on a letter to owner to come into the meeting to discuss the issue and set up a site visit, so. we'll
Yeah, because this,
wait further information on that from Peggy, so we can,
Update
yeah,
that.
because 111 is what came in from Mark through highway. And I went out and followed through, but you can't see the other side of the house.
Okay.
Because it's
All right,
slanted.
so we'll have to get a scheduled site visit.
Yeah,
and they're working on that.
All right. 63 South Street?
Yep, a complaint concerning excavation activity taking place and field main activity in the bog area by resident 63 South Street may be having impact. I asked for
6123 Highway Surveyor Haywood spoke with the administrative assistant, stated that he went by the property, which is an agricultural right to farm. The owner bought a bog and is filling the bog in with sand. That's kind of a little bit of a gray area, because some people would call a bog.
wetlands, and there were some people would say he's working on the bog.
under state law, you can't do anything with a bog until it's been nothing for 7 years, and then you need special permission.
All right, so let's do a little research on that and see what
See
the
if
last
there's
time
been
it produced any
activity.
cranberries.
Yeah, activity.
And then send him a letter. Or can we send him a letter asking him to prove that? Since he's the one doing the work, does he have to prove that it hasn't been a working bog?
You can ask him to make sure
Let's
that,
ask him to do that.
and then I would ask Peggy to ask 63 South Street to come in front of the board.
Yeah, ask him to come in front of us and prove why he's allowed to fill that in. And so he should have documentation.
I mean, because it could be one of those things where he has letters from other boards, or the
Yeah.
Farm Bureau, or
Right, right.
MDR, or someone where it doesn't need to be posted in different stuff,
Right.
so. And I wouldn't, I mean, if it's right to farm, and we're falling under farming territory in the USDA and other things, that might actually be where we overlap with the Board of Health.
Okay, well, let's get him in front of us first,
Yeah, and
get some information.
I'd ask, the Board of Health too, if we have any overlap there, because we have a lot of overlap with some of that, and usually it's the Board of Health that works with the USDA and others, so.
Looks like the next thing, we're in the same boat, 130 Fuller Street.
Yeah,
Complaint, neighbor came in talking about flooding, grading, overflowing. She stated the height of his land next door has increased in 6 inches to match his septic grading, and that's creating an overflow with his flooding into the neighboring properties. Administrative assistant working on a letter to the owners to come into the meeting, so hopefully we'll get somebody from 130 Fuller Street at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay?
all right.
471 Mount Ponset Street. I think we all know that fire that looked like it was the house, it's got a bunch of junk on his property. Fire chief says it's all set regarding a fire investigation. Working with the owner to clean up near the hydrant in the current time, okay. Yeah, that's kind of ongoing.
Yeah, it's,
I've talked to some people in the neighborhood about doing something, maybe set something up to help them clean it up. I think it's a hoarding situation, it just got out of hand, and he doesn't know how to attack it.
this 471 Monpont Street, and hoarding actually falls under HIPAA and different things, but this has been an ongoing issue with the Board of Health, so. It's really more of a Board of Health issue than it is a conservation issue, but I wouldn't have any issue as a board member greenlighting a project that goes by all of what conservation oversees to say, yes, neighbors, you can help
Yeah.
out, but please make sure you've gone through
Yeah.
every board that needs approval. And I know that there's also some probate issues and other things going on at that property, so
Yeah,
there's,
it's
it's
a big mess.
mess.
It's a big mess with a lot of things, but it seems like the fire chief's got that side of things under control, so.
Yeah, there's,
I'd like to discuss it with him and take a site visit over there. You know,
Okay, 17, 49, and 51 complaints, allegation new dogs being put in. Peggy's working on checking properties for Chapter 91.
I mean, obviously we send him a letter and tell him, hey,
Well, they-
if
they
you
don't
have your
have-
dogs in, you've got to deal with the fire chief.
Yeah.
I mean, the police chief.
yeah, well,
I mean, in
there's nothing for conservation on the,
right, are we
you,
dealing with a
but-
situation here where we've got a new neighbor who doesn't realize that these people's dogs were taken out for the winter and now they're being put back in?
Anything is possible.
Right.
That's why I asked at the last meeting, can we please check
Yeah,
with every department
Yeah.
that's involved before we go and do
Right.
anything?
right, because I get a feeling with that many that may be what it is.
Yeah, I was the one that was stopped to ask, and
Okay.
there's, doesn't look like many new neighbors, and there's.
All right,
Living Street, already talked about.
yeah, we need signatures for,
Do we need more signatures?
yes, 23 Dartmouth Street road opening, 4x6 road cut. 20 Harvard Street road opening,
Okay,
4x6 road cut.
yeah,
And 12 Harvard Street road opening, 4x6 road cut.
right.
All right, let's get this.
Do we know what's
Okay.
taking the report so long for 250 Lincoln Street?
I don't, I've contacted DEP and they say that it's forthcoming, that's all I get. I contacted as a private citizen, not as a member of the board. And I asked Peggy to just ask around in case it get dropped on somebody's desk and, I don't know, they were on vacation or something. You know, so she said as far as she knows, it hasn't made its way to this building yet.
I wonder if it made it through.
All these just need one
Deborah's
signature.
I wonder if it was emailed to Deborah's email when
Okay.
Deborah wasn't with us, or her last week, or
Because-
or it made it to conservation
because
field, but
we-
we had no one.
Right, well,
For
because
so
we've been
long.
talking about 250 for so long that they
Yeah.
might have Deb's email. You know, Caesar, take a look at that, right? You can look at all the old emails.
And Peggy, I think, has access, and I
Okay.
think Kathy might have access.
I might suggest that to one of us, throw an email to Peggy and say, hey, maybe check this inbox.
What do you think, Ed?
Yeah,
In case it's lost somewhere out there in Cyrus. They should be also sending a physical copy to town hall, but that would probably be a week behind any electronic copy. They could also be working with other agencies, because I will go ahead and put it on the record. I know for a fact the Inspector General's office is also about waist deep in 250 Lincoln Street, so they may be working together.
I think it goes a lot further.
Oh, it does.
there's no
but I-
many different avenues with
Yeah.
speculation at this point.
Yeah, so, I don't know. As far as I know, as far as I could ask, there's no report for us to look at right now.
Okay, well, copy signatures,
Yeah.
into office memos.
No, we don't need those. Is there anything that I need to sign?
Nope, it was just one
Just
signature.
one, okay.
I believe.
Do we need to read this notice of public hearing into the record? It's 657 and 659A one?
I don't think we have to do it in the
No,
reading.
Okay.
that's from the zoning board.
Zoning
Okay, that's what I
For
thought.
us. And
Just making
then,
sure.
and then we have the zoning enforcement officer for 300
Okay,
Plymouth Street in there.
okay.
For zoning board of appeals for 657 and 659 Amon Ponset Street. If we have question, comments, or concerns, we need to put it on record tonight and let Peggy know so they can let the zoning board.
What's going on?
Yeah, we have no idea what we're gonna,
They're putting,
Question.
they're not, the proposed structure isn't anywhere near the lake. Isn't anywhere near any waterway. So
No,
really, I wouldn't have any questions. I mean, the septic's gonna get approved by the Board of Health, so we really shouldn't have any questions, right?
yeah, we usually just sign off on the.
And I know the 300 Plymouth Street, on the doggy daycare, I know that he's not doing anything outdoors anymore.
no,
Yep.
So,
no, his special permit, I don't
Right.
have any questions about.
so I don't have any questions.
Yeah, and the
about that
planning
matter.
board approved it, I think, last
Right,
meeting.
so I think we're good on that one.
I think that's it. Motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn, and
I want to stay.
you can stay all you want.
You get it over, all in favor?
Aye.
Second. Thank you.
Aye.
Aye.